Exactly. We're starting off with an absolute banger here. LoueMT versus DeMu. I mean, we probably couldn't ask for like a more entertaining set to start off the day with. And I mean, we already got our map draft here going on live now, map draft by Search. I mean, look at the cool maps I've got. Every single time I see these, it's so amazing. Like the graphics that we got going here, like at a glance, you can just immediately tell what these maps are all about. And starting us off here, we're going to be starting off on our open map with Dry Arabia.
Oh, gonna be the classic Dry Arabia. I think most of people's favorite map. I put that in quotes because there's always the one-off people that's like, I love migration, and I'm like, you're weird. But for watching migration, a little bit of a different story, as that's one of the things I will not complain about.
I mean, Dry Arabia, it's like the classic, the go-to map when it comes to like starting us off, and it's there's a reason why it's like the most favorite map. It's just so I, I don't want to say this like in an insulting manner, but it's so basic. It has all the basic ingredients that you need for a great game. It's open. You have to go out onto the map. Like all the major goals are in the middle. You got the sacred sites toward the middle. And overall, I think it's just probably the most entertaining map when it comes to like raw skill between the players. But raw skill alone is not what really makes a set here, because we got a lot of very different maps that don't just like challenge your raw skill, but also your ability to adapt to maps. We got chaos maps, we got water maps, we got hybrid maps, closed off maps. So even though you might excel on open maps, there are situations where you might want to go out of your comfort zone and really like look at some of the other maps that are out there. And we can tell here, like we have all of these different categories with various maps. We got coastal cliffs, Dry Arabia, Gorge for the open maps, lots of closed maps, lots of water maps, hybrid maps. And then probably the most exciting category, the chaos maps, floodplain, moving out Socotra. Like these maps, they're every single game that I've seen so far on these games on these maps, like the category is really where it goes to. It's chaotic. There's chaos going on those maps.
It makes our lives a little bit harder because usually as a caster, you're supposed to kind of talk about what's gonna happen next, kind of get this like game plan going on, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh, we were not expecting that by any means. Let's go ahead and reverse everything that I was just saying. But when you're looking at these categories as well, it also makes civ drafting that much more important because inside of each category, you're going to be playing a lot of like your civilization choices, even on the open maps, you're going to be one of playing completely different civilizations on coastal cliffs compared to, maybe Gorge or Dry Arabia as well.
Yeah, exactly. All right, we can already tell the draft is going on right now, so we can see already the civilizations picked so far by our players. Juji and Ruse banned on both sides immediately, and this doesn't surprise me. Juji so far at the moment, from what we've seen, like during practice, during all the earlier rounds that we had so far, during the qualifiers, has probably been the most dominant civ when it comes not just to hybrid maps, but also water maps.
Yeah, I mean, and that's where you kind of follow that up with Roos as well. Very, very good at all the different maps, but also very, very strong when it comes to hybrid, when it comes to water maps as well. So just kind of two of the most kind of adaptive civilizations, both just banned out, making it to where it's a little bit harder to guess what's going to be coming on the maps and the civ picks.
Yeah, but there is a rather sister civilization to the Juji's legacy, which did go through for one of our players here. So DeMu is able to pick the Chinese here. And if we get to the point in time, like on some of these water maps, if an Imperial Age could happen, probably if there's a map where it could happen, it would be Migration. The Bao Chan's probably the strongest ship in the game right now in Imperial Age for the Chinese. Super, super strong, gets the Nest of B emplacement, does a lot of damage. Overall, just one of the best ships in the game. And it feels like for some civilizations, once it gets to the point, I'm looking at you, Japan, once it gets to Imperial Age, some civilizations can really struggle with dealing with that. So on those maps, aggression will have to be key for the player that isn't playing as a Chinese. So Louis, if it gets to a matchup like that, it's Castle Age or nothing.
Yeah, DeMu getting the two what I would call like the old classic water map civilizations with the Chinese, like you were just talking about. Also, HRE very very strong when it comes to some water as well. Using that inspiration makes just that much more economy to throw into that water. And Louis is opting kind of I would say more for the new style water. You got Japan, which has the very very cheap fishing boats. You can also go with a Basset or a Ubids because they got the cheaper docks as well. So interesting to kind of see whether it's going to be like the new school water or the old school water.
All right, and now we also can take a look at the civilizations that have been drafted for our first game on Dry Arabia. It's going to be the English for Louis and the Byzantines for DeMu. And this is like one of the matchups that I think we've seen a couple of times recently, especially on Dry Arabia. And it's a very interesting one. I mean, you see the Byzantines, they have a couple of options with their mercenary play. Like, usually we see them all in like 2TC, Castle Age, and trying to do damage, trying to finish off the game. The English, on the other hand, they're kind of polarized into the opposite direction. They go 2TC, they go for like the keep landmarks, they play very secure, and as long as the game like keeps going, they're going to look stronger and stronger and stronger. And Byzantines, like every time I see this matchup, whenever I see Byzantines, for example, going for the longbowman mercenaries, it tends to get to the point a couple of times where we see Byzantines with more longbowmen than English. I just find that a little bit hilarious at times.
Yeah, it never really feels like that should be the thing when, English's special unit is the longbow and Byzantine's special unit is that they can get a lot of other civs special units. So they never really should be able to outmass it, but it is crazy with how much olive oil they can end up gathering with, the ability to have their very, very cheap and easy farm or I guess olive grove transitions and you'll see those dropped quite early as well. So really fun to see this matchup. Byzantines is one of those civilizations too that you'll see them on like 60 economy and having 100 military out on the field, being able to do with what they want.
I want to talk a little bit more about this matchup because this is also like one of the unique things. Like Byzantines, they love going for those longbow mercenaries. The Western mercenary wing is probably by far the favorite for the Byzantines in most matchups. But against a civilization like the English, which do get armor clad in Castle Age for their men at arms, like for other civilizations, it's like, yeah, my archers are going to do an additional damage. They're going to be great, even against men at arms. But once you're up against English men at arms, it's like, oh, your longbows get +1 additional damage. Well, my men at arms get +2 additional armor. Suddenly, it doesn't feel that great anymore, and that's probably why in this matchup, I would personally love to see the javelin throws instead.
Yeah. I mean, that's one where I think the javelin throwers, when you kind of look at the matchup, you think of the matchup, it naturally makes sense with it. But sometimes, with the 2TC build and kind of packing yourself in, sometimes it feels hard to find too much damage with the javelin throwers unless you're full on diving, which feels bad to do against the English civilization. Whereas with the longbows, sometimes you can poke and prod with that little bit extra range.
Hear me out. There's one thing that I would actually really love to see. So you start off with Kashyyyks, and you go all the way up to Imperial Age, and suddenly you have access to tower elephants. Now, tower elephants, they're a little bit of a special breed because they don't just get 3 armor, 4 armor, 5 armor. No, they get like 6 pierce armor to play with, additional upgrades coming in later on as well. I think they end up at like 13 ranged armor or something ridiculous like that. They're like one of the best units to have when you're playing up against a civilization like the English, as long as English doesn't get to hand cannoneers. They soak up so much damage against crossbows, against archers. Like archers and crossbows, they barely tickle them at that point in time, and that's when elephants can actually be, like come in really, really clutch. I remember I had one game where I played against an English opponent, and I just couldn't break them. I couldn't break them. You get like a couple of these elephants out, suddenly you're able to push in again, and that's like one of these situations where that is not a wing that you would go for in most matchups at all, but it has its moments, like the very very niche moments that you can go for, and suddenly you thread the needle and it all works out. And those are like the kind of situations that I personally live for. Like you get these really unique, weird mechanics that don't come in usually, but then you find the situations where they do come in really, really greatly, and you utilize that. And that's where I think you can really like tell that a player really has put like their brain behind the play with a certain civilization.
Yeah, I do feel like though if Byzantines is Imperial Age going into Tower Elephants, I'm assuming the other side of the English is going to be following up with their own hand cannoneers, so might be a little bit difficult. And if we're seeing that go to the Imp, go to the late game, that's kind of where English wants to be in a sense. Especially if they're playing that 2TC wall themselves in build, essentially. That's what they're playing for, and finding themselves there. I don't think Louis would complain too much about it. But DeMu is not too shabby of a late game player, and Byzantines is not too shabby of a late game civilization itself.
I want to see Wingard Rangers this game. I,
I
I
I
don't
feel
want
like
the game to go like super long, but I want to see Wingard Rangers. Those guys, whenever I see them come out 9 tiles of range, those guys are ridiculous.
well, it's I feel like the Wingard Palace is one of those things that's very, very underutilized. You don't see it a ton just because the keep landmarks sometimes can just kind of end the game, or hold you over because you're going for that faster imp and you need the defense. You don't have the time to let the units come out. But it's crazy to see how strong those units actually are that come out.
Yeah, I mean, in many situations, like nowadays with English, we've seen it time and time again. I think this is just like the thoroughly the meta at the moment with the English, where you just go for that 2TC play with the early king. And the king is such a great unit, like it forces your opponent to react. Like he has to react. You get the king for free, you don't have to invest, but your opponent, he will have to react to it. Meanwhile, behind that, you go for a second TC, you greed up to Castle Age, and any aggression that your opponent might want to get to you for going for that greedy Castle Age is going to be denied by the White Tower landmark.
Yeah, kind of reminds me of the Ubids with their Desert Raiders going up with their faster Castle Age to follow up. But enough of kind of talking about all the hypotheticals. We're seeing the countdown slowly ticking down. We are about to get into the first game of the day.
All right, so let's jump into it. Our first set in the group phase. Here we go, everybody. Liquid DeMu playing as the Byzantines in the color purple. On the other hand side here on Dry Arabia, we got LoueMT playing as the English.
Yeah, and now we're gonna see these build openings, see kind of what we got in store for us. Louis going with the 2 early out onto the gold. Gonna go with most likely just the very, very quick, or yeah, I would say quicker feudal age. I think everyone goes to food after this. 9 on the food, 902.
Looking at the map here already, so DeMu, he didn't decide to go for that early olive grove, which we've seen like a lot of players recently with Byzantines go for a really early olive grove opening. And taking a look at the way his base spawned here, his berries, they're very, very far forward, quite exposed actually. So if Louis wants to go for early aggression follow-up, or maybe just completely forego the early Abbey of Kings build, if he sees the berries being that far forward, that could be a very easy point to put aggression on. Now, DeMu, he does have another berry bush in the back, but the other berry bush, it's kind of exposed towards the right-hand side, and he would have to put a lot of resource towards walling if he really wants to keep those safe.
Yeah, it's one of those like the western side that you could kind of wall off that initial in between the 2 bigger wood lines, but still is quite a bit of an investment to get through there. And I believe there's a little segment you might could forget on the all the way north side, but still a lot of resources he'd be able to protect for a good bit of time. I'd still be kind of. I mean, that's one where if you're moving out there, the king's still going to be Roman, and it's going to be hard to take those resources without some bit of investment into it.
Yeah, I think maybe if you want to secure that very early on, like a very early wall could help you here. We do see the Grand Winery now coming up, nice and early timing there for DeMu. Louis should not be too far behind that as well. Slate will be coming in soon, and that's going to telegraph for us what he's going to be going for, and it's likely going to be that Abbey, and there it is, Abbey of Kings is going to be the landmark of choice there for the English.
Yeah, I mean, players they like to lean into their APM, to their micro, and that's where they get to show off with the king a little bit, get to keep it alive, utilize its healing, just continually poke and prod like you were saying, and it didn't cost any investment into it.
And Winery, yeah, I mean, the king can definitely do some damage here against DeMu. Like, it's going to be very annoying for DeMu to protect his berries. Might want to drop an early outpost on it. I'm not sure how worthwhile that's going to be, since if you go for that early outpost, you want to likely get the arrows and placement on it as well. And that's going to delay your second cistern by quite a bit, so you're going to be missing out on like 4% bonus gather speed for quite a while. It's a little bit of a trade-off there.
Yeah, DeMu did do a good job of circling around. I love how how in tune these players are, and just watching the high elo players with their vision, with their knowledge. It's like they always know when to circle, when to check in on what landmark they're going for. Seeing Louis go out onto the stone, so he knows, all right, 2TC English is the play, which it's assumed, but you never want to make assumptions when it comes to the game, because then all of a sudden you'll have a few longbows knocking at your doorstep and you weren't ready for them.
Yeah, exactly. Those are the moments where suddenly you get caught off guard and your entire game plan, like what you prepared for, can suddenly go astray. All right, so DeMu, age up. It's surprising how quickly Byzantines age up nowadays. Like, there were a couple of buffs that all came in at the same time. Get the cistern efficiency buff, you get the cistern build speed buff as well. And all of those in tandem just suddenly gave Byzantines probably one of, if not the fastest age up time, with only 4 villagers on the age up.
Yeah, it's not like one of those with like HRE you'll see sometimes they'll have like 7 go out on the chapel when they're trying to rush it on down, and yeah, they got a 340 age up, but it's because they put so many vills on it. Byzantines doesn't have to sacrifice a lot into it, and it really feels like their economy just gets to be online so much earlier than it used to. I feel like when they first came out, they were definitely on the struggle bus for a while, but it was like these slight little buffs, they still felt like they were just lacking in that mid to early game, and just very, very crumbling when pressure came their way early, and now they really can hold their own.
Looks like DeMu did manage to find some shape throughout like the early game there. I did notice that he was kind of struggling when it came to the sheep count. Not that it's too bad now that he is in feudal age. He will most likely, have most of the villagers on the berries anyway, since he does want to get that olive oil in now. But now he's got enough sheeps there that should last him all the way to castle age potentially, since it is quite a bit together with the olive oil. Louis now building his second TC, and DeMu, I like the play where he didn't go for an outpost on the berries. Instead, he is deciding to make units. In many situations, when you make an outpost instead of units, it's 100 wood in placement and 150 wood for production building, which in many situations you want to have anyways. So in many situations, foregoing the outpost in favor of an early barracks here to deal with the king is going to feel better long term.
Yeah, especially because a player like Louis, what he's going to do with the outpost, even with arrow slits, he'll still poke and prod here and there, cause a good bit of idle time, making villagers jump in and out, and then the king just runs away, heals on up. What the units can do, if positioned in the correct spot, can just fully deter the king from doing any damage, and those units can get utilized in the long term. You can start sending them over to the other side, start pressuring. But as we say that, we see Louis' micro circling on around, gets a charge in, and then walks on away.
Yeah, the king, he's just gonna heal himself over time, so he will be all fine there. In the meantime, take a look at Louis' base. He's now opening up with double archery range, so is in theory gonna have the similar production speed as he would with a council hall. DeMu, on the other hand side, though, he is going with the remind me again of the name for the mercenary path. The Silk Road mercenary path, I think, or was it the Eastern one? I think it was the Silk Road one. Javelin throwers are coming out here for him, so is going to have an excellent answer when it comes to dealing with those longbows.
I didn't correct you because I didn't know the name, so I was just gonna let you continue on with it. But yeah, it's the one with the javelin throwers is the way I would have explained it. Which again, that's the kind of assumption that you go with against the English. It makes it a lot easier to deal with longbows. You have that typical counter unit, and Louis, he just dropped that double range like Crackety just mentioned.
Yeah, but he's gonna need a lot of longbowmen here if he wants to deal with those javelin throwers. And DeMu, he's just massing the Limit out right now, so he's gonna have a very, very strong offense here if he wants to go for any resource denial play. He's getting Pierce Armor in as well, and with Pierce Armor and the shield wall ability from the Limit, they're gonna be a very, very good tank, even against the longbows, even against like additional town centers or something like that. And now with the javelin throwers here as well, if DeMu gets a second pack of the javelin throwers out, he's gonna have enough to potentially one-shot villagers if he gets a volley off on them.
Yeah, and with with, like you just mentioned, with both of those groups being very good counters against kind of range, even though spears, they got to use their shield wall, they can easily kind of poke and prod at the secondary TC and get to the point where they dive the second TC. There's only spots for 7 villagers in there, and that's enough to easily one-shot a couple on their way out.
Louis has to be careful where he sends those longbowmen out to. Now that the javelin throwers are out, we see second group of Louis' military, 4 longbowmen as well as a knight, making their way over to DeMu's gold. DeMu, so far, it doesn't look like it's going to be a straight fast castle age. He hasn't pulled any additional villagers over to gold. Instead, pulled more villagers over to the berries in the north. So he's going to be able to further scale his olive oil income in the next couple of minutes to get additional couple of javelin thrower groups out.
And a quick pull off of gold for DeMu was easily able to spot out that raid, as we can see with the good old dual cam. And now Louis still just kind of continuing to try to circle on around. With the next group of jab throwers out, he can try to go deal with the raid at home. But Louis, he's got some things that are about to be knocking on his doorstep here in just a little bit. And those are some hard units to stop at that second TC.
LoueMT there doing an excellent job at tanking up the arrow fire there from the longbows. And actually, they're just going into melee range now without any micro, and it's going to be hard to micro at the same, like in multiple positions now at the same time. Yeah, Louis is going to have to run away here, and now the ram, it's going to be on the TC. Repair is coming in from the villagers. Louis does have additional longbows over there inside of his base, which he can use. But yeah, the javelin throwers, they're doing a lot of damage to the villagers there as well. First villager is going to go down now.
Yeah, and this is what I was worried about. You know, there's only spots for 7 villagers. Yeah, they're going to be able to heal it on up. The Javs can just continue to step forward, continue to pick off vills here and there. We've already seen 2 go down. Louis hasn't really been able to get too much damage on the return end. We saw the longbows go into melee range, and look at how many jab throwers are still just standing there without really any problem at all.
Yeah, but the TC, it's slowly but surely like doing its job. Like a couple of Midnight did go down, a couple of javelin throwers did go down. Has to be careful about those villagers. One villager did actually go down there again. Like, DeMu's killed a lot of villagers here so far. Louis killed a single one.
Yeah, villager pathing through the fire, and actually villagers ran all the way through the fire. A lot of them get quite low. Another one gets picked off. A second one gets picked off, and I mean, Louis is starting to lose quite a bit of that eco that he had invested into. You can see the vill count number at the top. He's only up by a single villager when he's been on 2 TCs for quite some time.
And now the second army group is coming in, and that is a massive army advantage right now for DeMu. 26 military units compared to just 11. Now, sure, the longbows in theory counter the LoueMT, but that's just a theory. In practicality, with that shield wall ability, those LoueMT suddenly turn into maybe even tankier units than horsemen potentially. It's quite massive how good of a meat shield they are, and the javelin throwers behind that, they're having such an easy time at just picking apart all the longbows behind it.
Yeah, Louis did do a great job picking off a few units while they were trying to build the ram or the Karasiphon. But it just still doesn't look like it's going to be enough. Villagers jump inside the TC yet again. Not enough room. Longbows starting to kite back. Jav stepping forward. But is one ram going to end up being enough to take down the secondary TC, or is just DeMu trying to do this, just continue to force Louis on his heels, continue to do damage?
The king did go down there, so it's going to be like very expensive to reinvest into the king. It's going to be 200 resources there, not something that Louis can afford right now. Another big issue is that this is like his prime food economy right there. That's just getting completely idled out right now. We can see that he's floating a lot of wood right now, which he wants to put into longbows, but he just can't because he doesn't have the food for it. It's 40 food for every single one of these longbows, and he just can't afford it right now. Villagers hop out again, immediately one goes down due to the fire for the Karasiphon. And actually,
Louis actually down. Yeah, he's down in villagers from this push now, but he has done a really good job of continuing to kite back, continuing to keep that longbow group alive. You'll actually notice military numbers are pretty close to even.
They are, but behind this DeMu, look at his resources. He's about to click up to Castle Age.
clicking up to Castle Age, and another villager goes down from the flames. This has just been one where the Kara Siphon has more than paid for itself, and it's not because it's taken down a TC, it's because the fire has taken down 3, 4, 5, 6 villagers or so, and DeMu behind this has slowly been dropping groves in as well.
Yeah, so food economy is going to be looking great for him here now as well. Louis is reinvesting into that king. Now the walls are coming up as well. Walls going to be really important. Once you realize, or once you think, once you believe your opponent will be going up to the next stage quite a bit ahead of you, that's when you really got to be dropping those walls down, because you want to buy time for your own age up to happen. The issue is, when I look at Louis' resource right now, when I look at his income, I just don't think that age up is going to be coming in time for him in order to deal with the potential castle age aggression coming in here very soon from DeMu. Right now, Louis, he's still only on longbows, and as soon as DeMu goes up to castle age, he's going to be able to upgrade all of those javelin throws to veterancy. They get additional armor, they do even more damage against ranged units. We see additional barracks getting dropped right now. The Varangian spam is going to be coming in very, very soon.
Yeah, and this is when you just get to see Byzantines fully online, and not necessarily even fully online because they don't have 5 cisterns, but you know what I mean with the point of they're in Castle Age, they have olive groves, they have their food economy untouched. You can see DeMu's food income is doubling that of Louis, and he has 10 villagers that are on the Golden Horn Tower building it as well.
Golden Horn Tower coming in before the army from Louis arrives, and once the age up comes in, like, Louis is just gonna have to straight up run again.
Immediately getting the contract upgrades to veterancy,
and you can speed those up so quickly. It's coming in so fast.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Just in the blink of an eye comes on through. Now all those javelin throwers are going to be that much stronger. And it's not like DeMu needs a lot of the Varangians out. Just 1, 2, 3 into this fight makes it to where Louis can't look away, because if those longbows start to hit any of the Varangians, it's even that much worse than the javelin throwers.
Scout goes down. Looks like the longbows, they did detach from the scout and the king. Might be that Louis wants to like get the longbows into the wood economy now, try to buy some more time. Is actually potentially able to snipe a monk here if he gets out of the stealth forest in time. Is going to be able to do so. Pick off the monk there. That's good to know. There is DeMu gonna pull back with his military. Doesn't look like it. He's gonna go straight for it. The Varangian are gonna be more than enough to defend now. And Louis, he's still lacking a little bit of gold for the age up. I don't think he can age up with the javelin throwers under his TC.
Yeah, not to mention he had a ton of villagers out on the deer, denied off of the deer, having to circle around, tons of idle time, still only up 2 villagers with all this time on a secondary TC, and those villager count, it's about to be dropping fast for Louis too.
Yeah, 2 TC definitely did not pay off in this one. More villagers going down. Javelin throwers did split off there. Tanky against the arrow fire from the TC. Oh my god. Age-up's coming. Oh, that's getting rushed up, but I don't think that that's going to be worth it. There's going to be so many villagers going down here.
Yeah, I mean, even if this does go up, which it probably will end up going up, it's just one of these at what cost. Louis is going to finish this. He's going to have 25 villagers.
More villagers running out. The longbows are coming back now. Louis, almost 10 villagers behind now.
Varangian on top of the longbows as well. New age begins. White Tower finishes. Still villagers, not enough room to jump inside. More villagers still falling. Louis is at 42 economy compared to DeMu's 54. And DeMu, he doesn't care about losing these units at all because he has another group, another 2, 3, 4 groups on the way after this.
Oh my god, the Varangians also just being so tanky here. DeMu, the first upgrade he got with Castle Age was the veterancy on the javelin throwers, as well as the +2 pierce armor upgrade for his units. So he's able to stay under the TC for an extended amount of time. And sure, the longbows are nice here, but you're just not doing enough damage. They can't penetrate the armor. Look at that javelin thrower. He's just standing there.
Javelin thrower is literally taking like 8 volleys of that group of longbows, and that's Louis' whole entire army.
He's got no income. He's now going over to the gold on the left side of his base, where the secondary TC is. But that's not where the White Tower is. I think DeMu at this point in time, he could just drop off another ramp. Yeah, there we go. Ramp is gonna get built. and he can take down all the infrastructure that isn't being covered right now by the White Tower. Behind
Yep.
this, Louis going into crossbows, but it's just going to be more javelin throwers from DeMu.
And look at what DeMu's done behind this. He has a secondary TC of his own. He's extended the cisterns out. He's at least on to, yeah, he's on to cistern level 3. He's actually about to be on cistern level 4 once he finishes that one on up. And I mean, DeMu is sitting pretty. Very, very clean build. Very nice aggression that paid off hugely. And he should just be able to close this game here in the coming minutes.
Yeah, this is looking absolutely rough now for Louis at this point in time. And I feel like a lot of it also came down to where the second TC got placed from Louis. Like, he went all the way out to the deer with it. I think in many situations with the TC nerfs, you can't really fault that. I think if you go for a second TC in many situations, you want to get the second TC in a safe spot, like in your base, in range of your first TC. On, for example, the gold would have been a good spot there for him. For fast castle H follow up behind it. But DeMu just doing immediate pressure. Yeah, at least we do have the Mangonel now coming out for DeMu. And it's one of the issues that Byzantines can have if they rely too much on their mercenaries. Not that it's the case right now with 26 Varangian guards out on the map, but if they rely too much on their mercenaries, usually it's range mercenaries, the game can stall out due to Mangonels at that point in time. But the Varangian guard, it's so many. It's just so many, and more villagers have to get pulled off the gold again. That's going to be a lot of iron.
That's half of his more. Well, actually, that's 2/3 of his economy over there. Mangonel still not even able to fire. So many Varangians, only a few crossbows, not even in the double digits yet. And Louis is good, looking to be losing the secondary TC here in a little bit. Varangians just running past everything, trying to head towards that Mangonel, not let it fire, not allow it to shoot the rocks onto the javelin throwers. It gets one fire off. Great micro from DeMu. Only is able to have one of his jabs hit, and this is just very, very clean game. White Tower being dove upon, and nothing Louis can do.
Yeah, now DeMu, he's just going to be sitting in the base of Louis at this point in time. Economy pretty much fully idled out for the most part. We got like still 35 villagers sitting on the gold right now from Louis. He's got the gold in, but he doesn't have any food, and with that, GG is going to get called. DeMu with the Byzantines is going to be able to take game number 1.
Yep, very well played, very clean game. And like you said, I think just a little bit of a greedy TC placement from Louis is what costed him that one. But fortunately for him, this is not just a best of one series here. This is just the first of many potentially. And, we got a lot left in store for us today.
Exactly. All right. Yeah, we can tell there with the military count. Whenever like these sudden when the military count just shoots up, that's when the mercenaries came out there. You can see just the military count immediately skyrocketing up there every now and then. Man, it's strong. It's strong. Byzantine's definitely in a very, very strong position at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I've heard plenty of people say nerf Byzantines. Please nerf this Civ. They get some Civ nerfs every now and then they get some buffs and a lot. I feel like a lot of the updates they had, it's like they have like one little slight nerf, and then there's like 3 or 4 other buffs that happen, and you're like, oh well, it's okay, it's even. But I feel like it has finally been the time where they just need like a hardcore. Hey, olive groves need to get nerfed, in my opinion.
I'm not sure if it's just olive groves that are the issue. I think mercenaries in general, they just come out too quickly. We can like even with the berries there, maybe there are many ways, like many knobs that can be tuned there in order to adjust the civilization. Let's just hope that there's going to be some tuned there in the next patch. So we'll hopefully see some balancing coming in there soon. But yeah, DeMu absolutely playing that one to perfection with the Byzantines. The all-in aggression very early on into the perfectly timed castle age follow-up, just being able to win him the game there. But our next game, it's going to be a little bit more of a chaotic one as we are moving into our chaos section. It's going to be moving out, which will be our next map. And we can already tell by that beautiful image out there for the map that this map means business. Both players starting off on a really small island surrounded by water. It's a little bit of a bagel or donut, you could say, there that they're being surrounded by. Then a lot more land surrounding that. We're going to be having a lot of chaotic interactions here. And DeMu going with the Malians, Louis going with the Ibits, and I gotta say, like, Malians, you wouldn't think of them as that great of a civilization on like water maps, but because this map is so chaotic, all the passive income that Mali potentially do get, it all tends to add up. They get another very unique civilization bonus where when you put units inside of a transport ship with the Malians, that transport ship suddenly fires javelins, and those javelins, they mean business. It's actually a lot of damage that gets dealt with them, and they can in many situations even take on military ships.
Yeah, I cracked up when I first saw that when it first came out. I was like, this seems like the most OP thing ever. It was just very, very cheesy. But I will say I felt like kind of these players, once they've seen it, it's they're no longer surprised by it when it comes on around. So I'm sure Louis will be prepped, will be planned and ready for it. I laugh about moving out though. Every time I see this map, the first thing that comes to mind, I think it was Anatan. He was like, "Yeah, don't pick Mongols on this map. You can't really place your TC where you want to be placing it because you're that close to your opponent,
Oh,
even though there's your wood line in between it."
oh, yes. So oh my god. For those of you that don't know, this was like really, really early in Age of Empires where the Mongols, there was a cheesy strat where they pack up their main TC and just rush the enemy with their main TC, put the villagers inside the main TC and just shoot. And the way the developers handled that is they gave a minimum amount of distance where you can't place your main TC as the Mongols too close to the main TC of your opponent. And on a map like this, where you're really close to your opponent on the main island, that can actually restrict where you put down your main TC at the beginning.
Yeah, I want to say I think the screenshot it had where like he had to tuck up all the way close to the edge of the water, so he was like way far away from the wood line and just not really where you'd want to be. But that's where you learn. Don't pick Mongols on the map. Louis, he's saving Mongols for a different map. Anyways, a Ubits is the game plan. We'll have that cheaper dock to start out with, and we'll have the ability to age up super, super quick if need be. Is that kind of what you think the game plan might be from Louis here?
Super early age up could definitely help there. The thing that I'm wondering, right, is like what is going to be the timing on that transport ship if Demu wants to go for transport ship cheese. Also, something that I'm wondering is when it comes to the landmark that the Malians will age up with. For one, you got the quarry, which is very nice. You get a lot of passive income. You can toggle between gold and stone, and stone gives you access to emplacements on your docks, which can be very good. But the other hand side, because the wood line tends to be relatively thin, maybe Saharan Trade Network could be the play here because you get a very tanky outpost with 5,000 health, which immediately has arrow slits emplacement on it. You can place that next to a wood line and potentially, get some cheesy arrow shots, arrow shots over the wood line, depending on how quickly it gets chopped out. It's gonna be interesting. It's chaos. It's a chaos category, so a lot of potential there for these players to interpret this uh, this map and how the meta should be. Man, it's tough to say what exactly is going to be the plan there from them.
Yeah, and this is again, like we said, the chaos maps makes it really hard for the caster's job because we're sitting here and we could keep throwing out strats here for the next 5, 10, 15 minutes here and just keep coming up with random stuff and it might not even be any of those strategies that we talk about over the next 15 minutes because it is a chaos map for a reason. These players they could have planned anything on these, and whether it's the transport ship, whether it's hey just a regular age up, kind of going for that feudal like all the passive resources. One thing I would say is if he does the transport ship, is that one where you jump inside with, how many villagers would you say you jump inside with, or are you trying to, get some Donzos out and about as well?
I've seen the transport ship in like many varying ways. For example, I've seen it with you start off with Donzos, you try and torch down enemy docks on specific maps, and then you go for a transport ship after. That's probably not going to be viable here because the starting docks will be in the range of the main TC at the beginning, so you can't go for like early Donzo aggression. So chances are you will want to go with villagers. When it comes to the amount, if I recall correctly, I think like once you get like 10 or 11 villagers inside of the transport ship, you pretty much start two-shotting the the ships. And another benefit that a transport ship has is they shoot while moving. So you have a really easy time. On top of that, the Malians, they do get a boost where their ships move a bit faster once they're in like an influence around the dock. You're able to really track down and really hunt those fishing ships and any other kind of ship with that transport ship.
Yeah. So kind of a very, very chaotic build that Molly can go with and a lot of different routes to take. So excited to see how this moving out map is going to end up progressing, how it'll end up playing out, because it really is all up in the air.
Yeah. It's not going to be a lot longer though until we'll be diving in. We see the countdown. It's counting down, and soon we'll be able to jump into our first chaos map in the group stage. And man, this is going to be very, very exciting. Malians and Ayubids. I've seen a lot of Malian practice so far on this map from the players, and I gotta say, Malians, they're looking really, really strong. When it comes to Ayubids, it's a little bit more of a question mark, but we'll have to wait and see. Let's jump in to our game number 2 on moving out. Just a little bit.
And here we are any second now.
We're
I'm
getting
starting to
beta.
hear no, we're starting to hear the noises. It's starting to come on through. And game number 2 beginning. DeMu in the color purple playing as the Malians. We got LoueMT in the color yellow as the Ayubids. And you can see the chaos is already starting. I think the first thing we saw was the scouts already aggroing each other.
Yeah, that's just what happens when the map is like very like the starting base here. It's very, very small. And something else that you can tell, right? Like, where's the starting gold? There is none. No starting gold here for you at all on your island, which means that's right. You'll have to immediately move out on the map with a transport ship if you ever want to get that age up in. Now the Malians, they're quite good at that. They're quite good at using that transport ship even after sending units across, right? Like you can potentially like put your scout inside the transport ship and be annoying elsewhere on the map. House comes in already, as there isn't a transport ship out yet to put it on any other spot. And Louis, actually, he's already got his first fishing ship out. I'm not quite sure if it's just, you know, Malian starting off with the having to build the lumber camp at the beginning. But yeah, DeMu, not the quickest there with the opening. You can see, yeah, Louis already up to 2 fishing ships there.
Much quicker opening for Louis, and yeah, I saw the dock just, you know, already getting built for Louis right off the bat, and DeMu wasn't even starting with his. So maybe just a little bit of a different build order from Mali that they had to do, just sacrificing a little bit. They don't have that half price dock, and really starting to cost
It makes
them
a big
early.
difference, yeah. Like only paying 75 wood there, it makes a big difference. I think I also saw DeMu starting off immediately with 2 villagers on the sheep. The thing is, this map also doesn't have any shoreline fish around the start, right? So you're gonna be a little bit limited with your food income there, with your villagers as well. Shoreline fish, they gather up like 30% faster than sheep at the beginning. So you can, in theory, be fine with just 3 villagers on shoreline fish compared to like 4 villagers and berries on sheep that you need in order to like sustain villager production.
And I think Louis is going to go for this super quick age up. You just mentioned one of the things that I think he can kind of punish, which is not having a lot of sheep early means that if you start to deny the fishing boats early, there's no real ability for you to kind of stabilize onto water because a lot of your military ships costs a bit of food.
A little bit of a misplay there. He sent only the villagers out. He forgot about a scout. We can tell that there's a lot of sheep actually on the island around as well. And there we go. Scout is now getting put inside the transport ship as well. Yeah, they're like these big clumps of sheep, which is a reason why you really want to get out on the map there as soon as possible.
Yep, transport ship on its way for DeMu as well. He does have his scout in there, as well as just 1 single villager, as he can't quite sacrifice as many villagers. He needs to be able to kind of focus up onto the land, stabilize this a little more. But you can see the villager counts or economy counts have evened on out, sheep being gathered on up. The big question is will Louis go? Yeah, and there it is. The advancement wing is already on its way. 1.5 minutes, and age up's going to be through.
Yeah, and behind this, I mean, DeMu, he's not really close, but at this time, look at that. We do have the transport ship. with a lot of villagers inside. 4 villagers right now. Gonna be idle for DeMu, but instead is gonna be able to do some damage. And look at that transport ship. Actually is taking a lot of damage here. Isn't gonna commit to that though. Louis tries to bait the transport ship from DeMu away there by going in the opposite direction. DeMu though, he wants to do eco damage.
Yep. Just like we said, Louis wanted to do on the other side, DeMu wants to deny some of those fishing boats. 4 villagers inside, does plenty of damage to those fishing boats, and DeMu knows not to step any closer because then Town Center Fire will be able to head his way. So just doing a great job to deny all this fishing for the time being, making up for his own 4 villager idle time. Oh, Louis sneaking out though with another villager, actually 2 villagers going for a dock on the south and a dock on the north. He can afford this with all the wood he has and the half-price docks.
Yeah, only paying 75 wood, and this is probably the best way to counteract this kind of transport ship cheese here, by just making multiple docks where you can hop in and out with your fishing ships. It's very unlikely that DeMu is gonna pump out another transport ship and idle out even more villagers to be on at 2 spots at the same time. And now the A-Job is coming in. Louis has enough resource to immediately put out 2 archer ships here if he wants to.
Yep, and 2 archer ships are already queued up. I'm not sure which docks. Maybe looks like the north one had one and the south one as well. You could see DeMu, he's already building a second dock right on next to Louis, tucked up against it.
This is where it's going to get memey in just a little bit, because I can imagine DeMu not backing down, but rather putting even more villagers inside of the transport ship, going with repair from fishing ships.
You literally, you said that, and he's pulling like 10 villagers over from his wood line, it looks like. Oh my god. Yep, there was just a huge clump of villagers and 6 more villagers running over from his wood line. That's going to be 10 villagers inside that transport ship.
The thing is, actually.
Oh,
Saharan Trade Network is coming up over there.
That's what it is. It's the Saharan Trade Network against that wood line. You said there could be a little bit of cheese, and cheese it is. Oh my! And
look at the damage now. Look at the damage now.
Oh my gosh!
While moving.
That archer ship is just getting absolutely obliterated. Louis trying to bring fishing ships over to try to heal it up and just didn't get there in time. Villagers trying to build a dock. He needs to be careful about it. I'm not sure if Louis spotted out or is able to react to the Saharan Trade Network yet.
People calling Nerf Mali, but this is 11 villagers idled right now for DeMu. 11 idle villagers. That's a lot. That's a lot. Now what Louis? Oh my god, he's pulling the villagers! No, it's too late. Is it too late? Oh my god.
Pull the shivs out. Pull the shivs out.
Is it too late? No, it might be in time. It might just be in time.
The shivs are out. No, more villagers are being pulled by DeMu. Can you body block this though?
Oh, it's going up.
If they body block and go around towards the water, nope, it's definitely going up. Louis needs to pull back, needs to run away. How many villagers went down? 3 or 4?
4 villagers went down. Oh,
and the Saharan Trade Network is going for the ship, not the villagers.
And he took it down as well. Okay. And he's ahead in fishing ships though. Even though he just lost 4 villagers, he's even when it comes to the overall economy.
Yeah, I mean, this is one where DeMu knows if he controls the seas, he can end up winning the game. And he basically, you know, if you compare this to like 4 lakes, he's got 2 of the 4 lakes. He's got the south and the west secured for himself for the time being.
Oh, DeMu, he's getting the archer ship upgrade for the Malians, the unique archer ship upgrade where the archer ships shoot additional 2 javelins as weapons. Yeah, we can see there with the archers, there's like an additional 2 javelins just getting thrown out there. There's the transport ship.
Needs to be careful with the transport though. If the transport starts to get focused down, that is 11 villagers that would fall, but takes down another fishing boat.
Pretty much only 2 shots. Oh, he's gonna have to be careful. In theory though, what he can do is he can ungarrison on the shoreline, quickly repair, and jump in again. If he wants to. Okay, I think he gave up on it.
barely able to get away. And the thing I'm scared for DeMu now is actually how many military ships that Louis is starting to stack up. We just saw 2 sprinkled ships. He had the archer ship. And then, you know, this is one of those that if you get, you know, another 2 or so sprinkled ships, your docks are going to start getting taken down.
And this DeMu, he is only on a single pit mine. He could, in theory, expand further to another pit mine. But right now, all the wood that he wants, or all the wood that he's getting, rather, he's gonna be putting in towards ships, because really, that's probably the most important thing here now on this map is getting water control. But Louis behind this, he's also put up a stable. And with that, he has the option of putting on some aggression on land as well. Right now, there's no military at all on the land for DeMu. And what this means is that pit mine that he has could get attacked very early on.
And this is the dock in the north, like I was talking about. Louis up to 3 sprinkled ships. Dock going to be taken down. Louis doing a great job scouting out where some of that gold is. And he's actually going to spot a few more villagers headed that way. So stables that he put down will be able to play out perfectly.
It looks like DeMu's scout also went down here at some point.
Oh, look at DeMu! Oh, next to a dock though, and he has fishing boats.
Yeah.
He's going to be able to heal these up. That was so
very
close.
Scary.
Too close for comfort, but good thing is that the demo ships are not just one shot. You need a little bit of extra damage onto those sprinkled ships on the other side.
I think, yeah, Horseman is out now on land for Louis, knows where to send it over to as well. Only 4 villagers out there, so they can't even pull their ships on it. Oh my god, demo ship on the dock. Is the dock gonna go down? Villagers are trying to repair it and does go down.
This is a huge pickup for Louis to start off. He has been able to deny one of the docks. He has that horseman out on the map too, roaming. We see the split screen, and that's just a villager. I think DeMu knows it's gonna die, so he's just like, all right, grab as much deer as you can.
He's rushing an outpost. No,
he's
barracks.
rushing a barracks. It's getting scouted out, but even, I mean, Donzos take a long time to end up producing, and this is going to be another villager or 2 going down, I believe, as well.
Yeah, at the same time, he can't relax on land. He has to also be active on water.
That's all the villagers going down. Look at how slow that Donzo produces. Every single one of those villagers is going to fall. Has to focus in on the land as well. Villagers trying to run on away. Demo ships, though, able to close the gap.
That was a huge hit.
Oh, and Louis has just been able to out micro on the water a little bit and force a ton of damage onto the land with the stables play that he proactively did.
Right now, I mean, DeMu, he's in a very, very tight spot. He's getting a couple of guns out, so it's going to be fine on land. But when it comes to water, he's behind 3 sprinkled ships right now.
And look at how far his military ships are having to come from, all the way from the southern dock. So it's just a long way to travel as well with that northern dock that was taken on out. And Louis, like you said, his military mass on the seas is just huge, and looks like he is going to follow it up with an outpost there on the north side, try to maybe deny some of that northern side wood, because DeMu, he's going to struggle to continue to expand over and over out onto the land, because Louis, he's following up the stables play with the double range.
4 more villagers are getting dropped. DeMu definitely wants to get a little bit more gold income in very, very soon here. So he's gonna go for that. I think Louis, very soon, he is gonna start attacking on the water side again. I think he's gonna try and wait until he gets some land units, go for an attack on 2 sides at the same time. Unless maybe he finds the courage to go even earlier. DeMu, he is still behind in sprinkled ships.
Yeah, and he hasn't had a ton of gold income, so he hasn't had the ability to produce a ton of demos either, because they're quite a bit of gold. Louis able to step up. He's in the middle of the fishing eco. Demo is going to be able to go out to that western side. He could have taken out like 5 fishing boats if he wanted, I feel like, but decided to save the demos. Wanted to keep the Mali military boats kind of chokeholded a little bit more, because if the demos explode, that allows the ships to close the gap.
Yeah, I mean, a big issue there was Louis, all of his archer ships got picked off before the main engagement. So then he has no answer anymore to the to the demo ships. At the same time, a little bit of land engagement, but there's archers out now for Louis. Donzos not really doing the trick anymore. We see a couple of Musafaris also getting queued up now. DeMu, he does have a good amount of food left over right now. This is a difficult spot to be in right now.
Springled ship stepping up again, immediately put that dock down on fire. Villagers moving out to try to heal it on up. DeMu steps forward with the military ships to give the villagers some breathing room, and it's not just a few. I think he's just trying to fast repair that, but how many military ships will go down in the process?
The javelins from the ships just getting thrown out, actually doing a lot of damage there to the demolition ships. That's kind of interesting.
Louis still has a good bit of an eco lead for himself. It looks like chop through in the middle isn't too far away from happening. Actually, I believe it is like one tree away right there that DeMu is about to get all the way through.
Yeah, but Louis is the one with the emplacement like in the outpost already there. DeMu's on the side where a chop through is going to take quite a bit longer. There is still a lot of wood on the main area, on the mainland as well, on the outer ring. Water fight, well on its way now. Demo ships are getting a little bit too close.
All of DeMu's demo ships got taken out in the process here. Louis still has demos of his own, still has a bunch of sprinkled ships. Villagers being pulled, and that is way too many villagers. Archer ships, no!
Oh my
galleys! Oh my god!
Has to be so careful there.
Oh,
actual 3 sprinkled ships getting connected to 2 going down instantly, 1 dropping to just 10% health left. And Louis, he's leading now with 5 sprinkled ships, 3 more in the queue. He is thoroughly winning on water right now.
Yeah, he is keeping this up and is going to be absolutely relentless. Was able to take down a few villagers in the process. Might not seem like much, but that starts to add up quite a bit. You think about, you know, the 4 or 5 he took down earlier, and then another 2, 3, 4 more. This is really what has allowed him to have this eco lead.
Yeah, and chop through. Pretty much imminent, and look at the wood income right now between them. DeMu on 500 wood per minute. I think that's also because he just pulled a lot of villagers over, but Louis on 1300 wood per minute right now. He's just able to fuel his water economy, or rather his water military, so well with that.
Yeah, I mean, you got to think he's got Golden Age bonus as well. He's got, it looks like a ton more villagers on it, maybe working a little bit more efficiently too, just kind of tucked up over in the corner with a few more lumber camps. And again, Louis starting to press forward for this fight, wants to keep up the pressure on DeMu, feels like he is very, very close to breaking him, but just hasn't quite been able to do so yet.
DeMu back and forth. A couple of archer ships did go down there for DeMu again. And the demolition ships. Oh, they're actually getting decent connections there. 2 sprinkled ships get taken down. Another one getting very, very low now. Not a bad trade there for DeMu. And suddenly, instead of being 5 sprinkled ships behind, it's only 3.
Yeah, and it's about slowly closing the gap. It's, you know, DeMu still continue to stabilize. Looks like the purple units are the ones moving forward. It's Musafatis and Donzos into all archers? Question mark?
Archers, spears, and horsemen. So a very good composition here. Yeah, Louis, he's actually massing up quite a nice army there on land as well. We see outposts actually coming. Oh my god. Oh no, he can reach that. He's got the dock. He's got the line of sight with the dock.
And this just auto wins him on water now too. I mean, there's not much wood
it's
that
also
he's
in
gonna
range.
be able to, it's still in range.
I mean,
he wins.
Yeah,
because the dock gives him vision of this.
He has to go on the outer ring. He can't stay on the middle anymore. He has to pull all the villagers now onto the outer ring. He can't have villagers gathering wood there anymore. And DeMu, I'm not sure if he's realizing, but he's still losing a lot of villagers now.
And if he goes to the outer ring, we were just talking about how big of a mass Louis has. If he sees this happen, which he does, he would be able to see with the dock. He'd be able to react very, very easily, continue to mass up even more than he already is. But I mean, this feels like game over. Trying to build another dock, DeMu is, and the dock immediately gets denied. Not sure if all the resources got refunded. I don't believe so. And DeMu finally maybe realized.
He pulled villagers off, but the issue is he's sending them over to land. that's exactly where Louis is going to be making his next move now.
And look at where the next move's coming. They're already running on forward. Like we said, the doc gave him vision of this. Couple houses going down for DeMu. But look at the eco difference now. That was 4, 5, 6, 7 villagers that just fell on the wood line. Oh,
my
no.
God, and now on water as well at the very same time. Oh, this is getting so messy now for them. Demolition ships closing in on both sides. It's the water dance. The water dance is going on while on land. The units from Louis are also marching forward. Demolition ships connecting to the dock. This dock still has the emplacements in it. Did quite a lot of damage there throughout it all. DeMu wants to keep that alive, sending more villagers over to repair, but the eco count is shrinking. 49 villagers now for DeMu. We got the picture-in-picture there as the raid on land is also going on. He pulls his military over there. Should be able to at least deal with the spearmen there, but this doesn't solve the issue with the archers.
Yeah, I believe walls were able to get the archers out, barely haven't been able to get on through, but DeMu also lost, it's not full wall, never mind, but DeMu was also losing more and more villagers on that wood line to the north when they were rebuilding the dock. And, oh my gosh, this is just...
eco units lost.
This is feeling really bad. And the age up happens with the growth wing too, so the eco difference going to get compounded even further. Louis actually starting to lose a little bit on his wood line, so DeMu closing up the gap a little bit, picked up 2 villagers there on the wood line, doing what he needs to, and somehow military numbers are still pretty close to even.
Yeah, close to even, but on one side you have archers, on the other side you have Musafati warriors, so it's not really as even as it seems right now when it comes to the composition. And once again, damage on the wood line. Not getting a lot of shots in.
Another 4 villagers went down there. Picking up a few more, and it looks like Louis is really starting to struggle on where to get wood from. He needs to make the transport ship transition just like he did. It looks like a ton of villagers over onto the gold, and I wouldn't be surprised to see him go over to the wood line soon either. DeMu has a ton of demo ships just sitting on the backside, ready to close the gap, ready to maybe destroy some docks and really just, all in onto this water.
Yeah, I think he even got to mark it out just to get even more gold in for those demolition ships. I think it's going to be the all-in play for him now at this point in time. As soon as the Age-Up comes in, he's going to have the signal, okay, now it's all or nothing. I got to go now. And there's always a chance when you play against the Ayubids or the Abbasid on this kind of map, because the landmarks are all on that starting island. So there's always the potential for like that one all-in move that can win you the game with a landmark victory.
Oh, armored hull though. Louis just falling back. He's waiting for his upgrades, and I love seeing him do this. It's just like he sacrificed the dock, waited out a little bit, and then right when armored hull comes through, 3, 2, 1, he's taking the fight. And I mean, there's just no way that DeMu can really take this fight now.
There's 5 archer ships as well, so the all-in with the demolition ships, it's going to be very tough to pull off. At the same time, military is fighting on land. There are now some javelin throwers actually that get mixed in, but it doesn't feel like it's enough because now golems are also on their way. Veterancy on most of the units has come in as well, and yeah, I feel like DeMu at this point in time, the big fight is happening now. Archer ships though taking down the demolition ships for the most part.
Body blocking.
Archers up.
Able to take down every single demo ship basically. Great job with some body blocking from Louis with those ships. The pathing just so difficult to get through that many units. Few more villagers do fall for Louis, but at this point, I mean, look at the eco number difference. I feel like DeMu's eco number has not climbed at all in the past couple minutes and only been falling.
Oh man. Yeah, at this point, it is looking very grim for DeMu. He needs a wonder, so to say, a miracle in order to come back from this one. And the demolition ships, once again, getting sniped out just before connection. One is going to push straight through, but it's just not enough. The armored hull, the bonus health, just means that these ships are so much tankier now. And DeMu, he's just running on fumes at this point in time. Gets some Musafati warriors out. Does at least have an answer to the golems with the Musafati warriors, but now an age up behind. it feels like it's just a matter of time for Louis to close this game out. 44 economic units compared to 85 at this point in time, and Louis with a firm tech advantage that is not going to change anytime soon. Should be able to close this game out now, any moment.
Yeah, Louis got more eco moved out onto the outside path now than DeMu has as a whole. Overall, it feels like fishing boat's still working perfectly, and I mean, Louis, it seems like now is the point where he's going to be able to deny these 2 docks in the north and really push through this military mass, because the trades are slowly continuing to go his way with all these upgrades coming through, the armored hull coming through. He's getting eco upgrades, he's getting ranged armor in finally, and so, you know, being able to spend all that gold that he has.
And now, this feels like it's going to be the last fight. All the demolition ships are getting pulled forward. Once again, the archer ships, though, Louis, he still has 4 of them. Sprinkle ships also at the front, being able to cover. One demo ship might make it through. A couple actually get some connections on, but the archer ships, yeah, all of them back down again. Still more in queue, but nowhere near enough in order to take this fleet on now. And Louis, he's just taking down so many ships, and right now DeMu, he's only got demolition ships in queue. He's not remaking any of the galleys, he's not remaking any of the sprinkled ships, and now Louis is actually the one going for rounds.
The income per minute, I mean, Louis got 2 at over 1,000. Meanwhile, DeMu, he doesn't have any resource per minute breaking 700 yet. So that is just showing you how big the economy difference is. It's just every single resource per minute. I mean, I think Louis actually has almost triple now the economy looking at the income per minute.
Yeah, it's at least double. It's at least double at this point in time, and look, I think he just thoroughly won this kind of chaos map, right? Because it was so chaotic on so many different angles, and he was still able to scale his economy so much better. We can tell by the eco count that's been killed so far. Just these like outposts on the wood line, the play around the wood line. It just worked out so much better for Louis here in this game.
Yeah, and the Rams are going to be able to clear up so much of the infrastructure there in the middle. It's really going to put the pressure on the DeMu. He's not going to have anything to be able to clear it on up. And speaking of clear it on up, Louis has finally cleared the whole entire military mass. It feels like there's only, you know, single-digit ships left for DeMu now, and not really anything to be able to actually defend himself. So the writing, it has been on the wall for a little bit, but there was always a chance, and it doesn't feel like there's one anymore.
The middle part of the map, it's just completely desolated right now. There aren't any more villagers out there doing anything in that part. It's just around. Oh, demo ship there on the side. Still some great connections there for DeMu. He's actually managed to up his economy number quite a bit again, but now more demo ships coming in from Louis as well. Just cleaning up the docks now one by one. These docks that had the arrow slits emplacement on them for the longest time now on fire, but no more villagers on the middle of the map. On that small island, on to repair them again. So the emplacements, dock with emplacements, slowly but surely are getting all cleaned up.
Few of the demo ships that popped out for DeMu that could have maybe made a difference got taken out as well from Louis' archer ships, and the military mass on the land has slowly pushed forward. Ghulam's on top of those javelin throwers, and DeMu throws in the towel. LoueMT evens up the series and makes it 1-1.
Man, that was... I gotta say, I was a little bit on the fence about these kind of like water maps, but this was great. I thoroughly enjoyed my time like watching this game. That was absolutely great. I can see there the villager count. The outpost battles and like the land aggression from Louis just absolutely on point there, whittling down the economy bit by bit, and yeah, with that, able to even up the series here after the first 2 games. So we're now in a 1-1 situation in the set. Very cool.
And honestly, I think it was the villager pull on the Saharan trade network that really made the difference. He was able to get 4 economy down, and and it's not, you know, 4 economy at 30 minutes isn't too big of a deal. 4 economy at like the 6-7 minute mark is a huge difference that really allowed him to kind of snowball that game even further.
Yeah, I agree. All right, so let's take a look now and see what is gonna be next up on the menu. And look at that, man! I gotta say, I love King of the Hill. As memey of a map as it can be, King of the Hill, it's just so fun. And we're going to be starting off here in King of the Hill now. Well, not starting off, but it's going to be our game number 3 on King of the Hill with Ottomans versus China. And this is a very interesting one because China, they want to go for the little bit of cheese, a little bit of fromage there in the middle. They want to drop that Barbican of the Sun right on the middle sacred side and just set themselves up for a game plan that just resolves around like taking the sacred side in the middle and just making sure that they're going to be able to win with the sacred side win condition. On the other hand side, though, Ottomans, they can go for the early military school, get some spearmen out, and really make sure that that's not going to be going up.
Yeah, the biggest thing that I always find on King of the Hill is there's a reason why it's a closed map. It's so easy to wall up on the sides. You have so many resources behind those walls. But one of the things that I want to kind of ask you the question about is you mentioned in the Civ draft before the whole series even started, you were like China on the hybrid maps is super strong or the water maps. It's like, well, we got China on the closed map now. So leaving HRE for the water slash the hybrid map. And it, is this feel like a DeMu needs to win now mode kind of like Civ choice here? Or is this kind of one where you're kind of, you're like, hey, it's just the way the game plan kind of goes.
I think this is honestly like China on King of the Hill is probably one of the best civilizations that you can pick for the map. So it's like a map dependent pick there, I would want to say. We can take a look at the rest of the maps. Like we got Migration, we got Kawasan, and the civilizations for DeMu, they're quite fine there. I could see on Migration, you could pick something like Atri or even Delhi. You can pretty much interchange them with Kawasan as a hybrid map as well. I think Delhi work really well on Kawasan, going for like that early sacred side, and you get the fishing ships that shoot arrows. So it's very easy for you to take control of the ponds early on. And then when it comes to Migration, HRE I think can be pretty good there, but you'll have to play them a little bit differently since you won't be able to make too much usage of an Archon Chapel when you just take into account the way the starting island really works out. Unless you go for like a drop, unless you put the Archon Chapel immediately on the middle of the map. Could be an idea, could be an option.
It could be an idea. That makes it sound like more of a chaos map than a might or just a generic water map, though.
It could work out. It could work out. We'll have to wait and see, and how exactly the players will choose to use their remaining civilizations there. I mean, there's also Jean available for DeMu, but I'll be honest, I don't believe we'll see her unless maybe on Migration. I'm not sure. Maybe Jean is good on Migration, right? Like having a really good land military unit early on could be good. But then again, you don't really have anything else to do with your landmarks then on that map.
Yeah, I mean that's one where time will end up telling. Love the production here. You are absolutely correct. It's a beauty. I mean, just the look here. It's so clean. The good old Surfshark map draft, and gives us a good layout of what to expect throughout the series. I mean, this series we're at least going to get 4 of the 5 maps that we see here in front of us played, and potentially all 5 with the way that we've seen this series played out so far.
Exactly. But the clock is ticking, so game number 3 right around the corner. We're going to be taking a look at Ottomans versus Chinese on King of the Hill between Louis and DeMu. So that's going to be very, very exciting to see. I wonder, is DeMu going to be able to go for the cheese play on the sacred side? Or is Louis going to be able to stop him from achieving that?
Yeah, and it's also one where is going for the sacred site play still give Ottomans enough time to kind of stabilize to pump up their military. They're very very great at pumping out a lot of siege, a lot of military in general, which China can counteract. But enough of that. We're starting to hear game sounds. We're starting to hear game number 3.
All right, and here we go. DeMu with the Chinese versus Louis in the color yellow with the Ottomans. And we do have the opener up here for the Ottomans with the military school. So he's going to be able to get some spearmen out nice and early. With nice and early, I mean like 3 minutes or so, not that early. But it's going to be nice either way, having military units out on the field that early on. DeMu opening up with the village opener here with the early Imperial official. Like that he did go for the early Imperial official. don't like if you skip out on that one. That's a decrease in your social credit score if you're playing as a Chinese.
Oh yeah, to say the least. And this does look like a little bit more of a not necessarily open King of the Hill, but it does look like some of the gaps are a little bit wider than what they are sometimes. So I personally like that a bit, especially in that kind of southern side in between the sacred side. It's kind of just like almost wide open.
Yeah, pretty open for both players here. The access towards the sacred side in the middle is so pretty fair spawn overall between the two here. Looking at the relics, also looking pretty fair between them. You could make a case for the large stone in the middle being a little bit favored towards Louis, because that's like in between the middle cliffs. But overall, still, I want to say a very, very decent map spawn here for King of the Hill. Like, sometimes this map can be a little bit memey with the generations, but this one looks very, very solid overall.
Yep, we're starting to see some scouts running side by side, and DeMu getting the best of it, grabbing a few sheep away from Louis. And Louis just going to head on a different way, get some more vision, maybe try to get a different path going.
DeMu is getting close to that age up, to the amount of resource it needs for the age up play. So the question's gonna be Barbican in the middle. I don't think you can open up with the Barbican in this matchup. Like, that just leaves you open to, yeah, he sees the Spearman as well. He must know that, okay, Barbican in the middle might not be in his best interest here.
Yeah, I think he'll just start with the typical Imperial Academy, get his, eco boost a little bit at home, gathering in some extra taxes from that. And that's exactly what he's doing, dropping it right on next to the berries. And then he could move out later on, with a little bit extra villagers, maybe a few military units, and just quick drop the Barbican in the center if he so desires.
Sultanahi trade network for Louis. So this makes me think that this is going to be a fast castle play from Louis behind that with the Ottomans. The passive gold income, it equals out to like the Mansa quarry that you get as the Malians. So passive gold income, especially for a civilization that won't spend their gold on cattle early on, is going to be able to accrue a lot of gold early on there.
Spears effectively make DeMu walk on, or I guess spear effectively makes DeMu walk on away back to the good old straggler tree. And soon enough, feudal ages will be beginning, and we're going to start seeing this game open up a little bit and kind of see, what a few more military units can do when the pressure starts getting put on.
DeMu gathering up some wood now, might be going for production building. I could imagine that DeMu's plan right now is just get a couple of military units, so then that you can force the Barbican on the middle sacred side. Interesting, Louis switched up his military school, not to Sipahi, but to archers instead.
So it can really start pumping out that archer count, and going ahead dropping the blacksmith on next to it makes that production a little bit quicker. Spear's just trying to burn down the mining camp from the start and spread out the deer, just doing the typical deer layman. If you can't get any damage done with the spears, at least do some eco annoyance.
That deer went for a little bit of a marathon there, went quite far away there. And yeah, spreading out the deer definitely is gonna hurt as the game goes on, because DeMu will likely have to go for farm transition unless he wants to gather from very suboptimal deer. But to be fair, the deer aren't spread out that far apart, and we are getting the Barbican of the Sun protecting the gold, but not in a way that it's really gonna have any influence over the middle sacred side in this game.
Yeah, not only no influence on the middle. Ooh, that spear walked a little too close to the sun. TC gets a hand cannon shot on top of it, but it's also in a spot that, like, it feels like doesn't protect a whole lot other than like the front opening, and like you said, it kind of helps the gold, but even still, an archer can almost circle around and just stand on the other corner and snipe on down.
Barbican is gonna get finished up, and one of the deer is getting pushed a little bit far, but that all the deer are relatively close there to the Barbican, so DeMu should be in a good situation there. When it comes to food gathering, first archer has now come out, and DeMu, if he spots that archer, he might be thinking, oh wait, my opponent made an archer range. because usually you expect Ottomans to go for Sipahi straight away with their military school. Not the case here, though.
Yeah, and look at DeMu. He knows what he needs to protect. He knows that Barbican wasn't going to protect that gold enough, so he goes ahead and invests into a wall on that southern side.
Yeah, you kind of need though. Need to. Once you see those archers, the Barbican, it's not going to be enough protection since it's not right next to the gold there. Scout is going to be able to make it out alive. Now a matter in queue of the military school. And I like what Louis is doing there with the rotation around in the military school, just getting like an even composition of units out. So that way he's immediately... Oh. Using the buff there to kill the deer. Yeah, that's very nice. Look at how even, like how close these 5 deer are next to each other. That's a very good spot there to get.
Yeah, and you can see by the resources up at the top, though, Louis did a really good job of delaying that gold for quite some time. Scout, actually, of DeMu is getting close to getting taken out, which you do not want that to fall on a map, a closed map especially. You need vision. You need to kind of know what's coming, especially when Louis is going to be dropping Castle Age in the coming minute.
So far, only a starting 3 traders inside the landmark. And yeah, Louis is getting really, really close to Castle Age now. DeMu gets a confirmation of the production buildings that Louis has dropped there so far. So only the military school at this point in time.
DeMu getting Imperial examinations, but won't be too far. Even though Louis is about to be dropping his Castle Age, is dropping his Castle Age now with the MIA, DeMu won't be too far behind it because of how fast those Chinese villagers build. And he's also investing into some more walls, albeit through a berry bush, but still investing into some more walls in the north side.
Yeah, the berries make it a little bit interesting. Villagers have to pay in, have to path in interesting ways there in order to finish up the wall. Mehmet Imperial Armory about to finish up. DeMu is going to be aging up any second now as well, and it's going to be the astronomical tower. Makes a lot of sense on this map, especially in this matchup. You do want to be able to keep up with the siege here as it comes out from the Ottomans, so making sure that he's going to have access to really strong siege early on in the game is going to help him when it comes to taking control over the middle sacred side, because that's going to be what the Castle Age is going to revolve all around. Like, it's going to be this middle sacred side, the relics, and just overall taking map control. Louis in a really good spot though to start off with, already having a couple of spearmen and archers. DeMu going for the barracks now, so we'll see some palace scouts coming out. I wouldn't be surprised if Louis just immediately goes for a stable just to get some lancers out now as well, as that's going to be an easy way to deal with the palace scouts as they come out.
Yeah. But as you can see, Louis is the one who kind of has the map control. DeMu had to wall himself in. This also could allow Louis to get a lot of those relics, and relic differential can really make a huge difference when it comes to this battle over the middle sacred site, as well as what you'll see a lot of the centralized gold. So if you're controlling the sacred site, you're usually controlling those massive gold veins.
Louis, he's getting 2 monks out right now. I wouldn't be surprised if Louis already got like 2 mosques out, just to really quickly vacuum up all the relics out on the map. But yeah, both players immediately going for the religious units. This is now when it comes to taking care of the middle sacred side, taking the relics and getting the passive gold income even higher now. And yeah, it makes, you need the gold. You need the gold for sure in order to just funnel your siege military.
Yeah, I mean, I find when you don't have the relics, it feels like one of those things where everything has an opportunity cost. So then when you're building siege, you're not having the gold for upgrades, or you're not having the gold for whatever it may be. But this really allows you to kind of click up with more than a few different things. Louis investing into an outpost on that middle sacred site wants to kind of just go ahead and lay the groundwork down. 2 monks are out for Louis. He's getting the 3rd, and a single monk is out for DeMu. Looks like he's going to go for that close northern relic first. Monks are actually, I think DeMu might have that northern relic stolen from him.
Yeah, it definitely looks like him.
He didn't have a. Did he build a gate on that?
Yeah,
he built a gate.
Too.
He was just late. Just late from it, and it's going to get stolen. I thought that was the monk sitting at the wall.
South as well. The relic on the south as well. It's going to be a tight race, actually. for the relic of the south. No, it's a
Oh,
spearman.
it's a
Oh my god, I
spear.
got baited.
Oh, you got baited. But it's still, that's a 4-to-1 relic differential, which is huge. Monk's starting to get taken down.
he's
No
not
reaction
moving.
from DeMu yet.
Oh, the monk is just walking back due to the shift clicks there from DeMu. No reaction yet. Wait, is the wolf gonna kill the spearman before the spearman kills the monk?
No. I mean, still no reaction. This is detrimental for DeMu because Louis can
Oh, he
send more of his
notices.
military over. It's one shot left.
Too late.
Oh no.
And now the lancers are coming in. DeMu, he's only just now getting some spears out.
This
The monk
is a
actually
free
is
couple of
being
villages.
sniped
And the
now.
monk. This is going to be 5-0 relic differential for Louis. Villagers on the wood line have to run. He's going to have a safe back wood line, but there's nothing to really defend this, like you said. First spears on the way out. Bunch of idle time caused. And the middle sacred site is ticking 8 minutes and 40 seconds.
Yeah, first mangonel has now also come out. Louis, he's scaling lancers and archers. More military schools are coming out now behind all of that. And yeah, as you said, it's going to be a 5 relic game there for Louis. 400 passive gold per minute, plus an additional 100 from the sacred side. He's sitting at 500 passive gold per minute then. And not just that, he's got the landmark, which passively gives him even more gold.
He has more passive gold per minute than like DeMu's going to be with like 10-15 villagers on gold, it seems. And this is a huge feels bad for DeMu. I mean, it's crazy because even that one relic can be a huge difference because it's not only extra gold for yourself, but it's gold you're denying from your opponent.
My god. And DeMu, he's now switching fully into Nest of Bees, fully into that siege warfare. Louis, he's just getting the mangonels on passive. That's a lot of villagers on gold, by the way. That's a lot of villagers on gold. But DeMu, he's also in a tough spot when it comes to food. He's now going out to the berries, to the north side of his base. It feels like he can't really move out to the deer. It's just a little bit too open. Sure, there's a barbican there, but that's also like a prime real estate when it comes to snipes.
Yeah, and I mean, you could just walk forward with the mangonel, walk forward with the
Yeah.
archers, the knights. I mean, DeMu is really at a kind of chokehold in his base. It almost feels like he's playing that 2 TC English with walls, but he doesn't have an extra TC for China going for himself, where I feel like usually they do in this position.
And Louis, he switched up now. Mehmet Imperial Armory is now getting put onto Springles.
Yep, he got that baseline of like the 2 mangonels. I feel like with a couple mangonels, it makes it so hard to dive up on that hill with even, you know, just the melee units because you're taking a lot of extra fire from those. And then he's just going to have the Springles now be able to sit up on top and archers and knights as that main military mass.
Yeah, Louis, he's now also getting a lot of stone in, so already has some placements in that one outpost there, but will also be working. Oh, that's not the spears. French Tech takes the wolf down. But yeah, he's gonna soon be working on a keep on the middle sacred side. And once that keep goes up, suddenly for DeMu, it's gonna be very tough to push Louis off that sacred side. He's now pushing in with a lot of military, 17 spearmen, 13 palace guards, but the keep, it's being built right now, and I think Louis, he's got enough military here to probably hold this with the emplacement, the outpost as well. Man, I can't believe that Louis just got 5 relics in this game. That is such a hard situation now for DeMu to come back from. Louis pretty much doesn't need any villagers gathering gold at this point in time.
And I think DeMu, like with this timing right now, I feel like he almost could have taken it with the triple nest of bees before the Springle came out. But he doesn't even know the keep's going up. So Louis kind of pushes forward, delays this military mass from stepping forward again. And the timing I feel like that DeMu has is going to actually continue to fall away at this point just because of how much military mass that the Ottomans can invest into. They're like, all right, I'm happy with sitting on 1 TC. This is their playstyle. Mass a ton of military. You have the extra military schools working for you. You have the MIA working for you. And DeMu, he's going for a keep of his own now.
Yeah, more villagers going back over to stone, so it's just going to be more emplacements, more keeps there on that middle sacred side. He's putting up a siege workshop there as well, so is going to be able to have access to siege very close, like siege reinforcements from very close to the middle sacred side. And all of this army now approaching from DeMu, Louis already sees. He's going to drop his own keep there now, sees the keep.
Mangonels?
Oh my god, this could be devastating, but he's got sprinklers there.
The first Mangonel, second Mangonel shot from the side. DeMu didn't see it. Villagers go down to nothing.
That's a lot. That's a lot of losses, but the Mangonels to get taken down.
The keep does go up, but all of the siege should fall for DeMu as the knights, they just dove past everything. The spears, they ran forward on the other side.
We lost a lot of villagers.
Tons of villagers fell. 3 of the 3 nested bees, only 1
He needs a ram
stays
now.
alive now.
If he gets a ram, he's got a unit that's like tanky enough against the keep in order to start decapping the sacred site.
But Louis ahead in villagers now. Oh, there's an archer.
The one archer.
This is
just
actually
denying
so
the
much
food
more.
there.
This is the only food that he has. He actually just now is gonna maybe be able to move out to the deer next to the Barbican, but he's not yet reacting off of those berries. And look at DeMu's food income: 300 food per minute and falling.
Oh, he's not noticed yet. He's lost 1 villager, and it's gonna be more. He's lost his entire advantage from the Song Dynasty.
Yeah, I mean, the Mangonel shots in the middle, I want to say, were just absolutely perfect with the spread onto the villager mass that was building the keep. A trebuchet immediately comes out of the siege workshop that's proxied forward from Louis, and he has a second one there, so he's immediately going to be able to take down the keep before DeMu can really even react. And was that a second keep I was seeing being built as well?
Yeah, second keep is coming up, and I mean, at the very least, though, Louis did pull the archer away. I think that's a classic Selector military move from him there. Pulled the archer away from the berry spot. Now the keep now also coming up from DeMu, so both players gonna be with 2 keeps in the middle.
He's sending the archer back, and he's sending a couple of knights that way. I think just to circle around, maybe try to get on the backside of some of that siege. But there's the ram that you mentioned from DeMu. Springles though just did so much damage to it. It's gone before it even does anything. There's 5 Springles on the side of Louis, and look at the siege that DeMu has. He was forced to build a lot more trebuchets, so he doesn't have the siege to actually defend his trebuchets, defend his nest of bees. Now has another keep going up of his own, and there is still 2 minutes and 30 seconds left on this sacred site. But DeMu, he's at 100 food per minute, DeMu is. And Louis is the same, but he at least has military schools.
Both players right now, it's just about siege. Look at that. Louis, he's on 6 Springles. No amount of rams are going to be able to decap the sacred site. It's too remaining.
Oh, and the villagers that are building that other keep, that are rebuilding the keep, are falling from the Springled Outpost. The Springled Outpost will go down in a second, but that's still a few more villagers that fell for nothing.
3, 4 trebuchets now for DeMu. Still doesn't feel like it's enough. The ram, it's gonna move over to the middle again, only to get absolutely obliterated by the mass amount of Springles here that Louis has.
Ram is just absolutely a waste of wood at this point with how many Springles that Louis has. The keeps are starting to kind of trade with each other with how many trebuchets are coming out. There's, like you said, 5 now on the side of DeMu. There's 3 on the side of Louis, but
the issue is, even if the keeps are down, Louis, he's got the military advantage. 20 crossbows, 17 archers, a couple of knights. DeMu, no matter what unit he makes right now, it's not going to be enough unless he's able to get rid of the siege as well. But there's just
insufficient stone.
Oh my god!
Insufficient stone. The keeps go down. He can't rebuild it. So the keeps trade with each other now, but there's still only 1 keep alive from either side. And you said it, Louis wins the fight. He actually has the siege. Oh, yep, that's what I was about to say. The Vizier points with the units in the siege, so his siege fires that much faster. He's gonna circle around and go for the trebs, I think, here.
Just a couple of Springles though. To the keep fire there. Ram
trying to delay it, but it's just not doing enough. The Springles
gonna bite seconds.
The Springles step up for DeMu, and both nested bees fall.
And the keeps on both sides are about to go down a little bit, but DeMu's keep is actually going down first. And the Springles from Louis now have a clear way to attack the keep, to attack the trebuchets from DeMu. It's gonna be one more
Trebs-
volley though. Needs one more volley in order to take the keep down.
Oh, the keep
Sprinkle,
somehow
sprinkle.
still alive, and it falls, but the fight's being taken. It's Spears, Palace Guards versus the Siege Mats versus the Crossbows, and it looks like DeMu's front line. Are there enough crossbows here? Oh, they're on the backside. Look at where they are. It's a group of 15 just doing nothing.
But I think it's still enough. The villagers are getting pulled. 26 seconds left on the sacred side, and Demu's pulling all the villagers, but there's still
Villagers versus villagers.
units.
They're just
Oh,
hanging
no.
out. Shivs are being pulled. The crossbows are here, though, and Louis has the crossbow mass, so DeMu, all of these villagers slowly fall down. They're pulling out the torches, trying to take down some of the siege, but finally, the reinforcements come, and DeMu realizes he's not long for this world. Louis goes up 2-1 now.
Yeah, Louis taking a lead now in the set against DeMu, and man, DeMu, this is now match point for Louis the next game. He's gonna have to win 2 games in a row now in order to win this set, and it's gonna be rough. It is gonna be really, really rough in the group phase. Like every single victory matters when it comes to advancing towards the playoffs.
And just look at that villager drop when it happened. That's when that's the keep drop attempt from DeMu came and the double mangonel fire. It's just a straight down line because it was a mangonel. He went from over like it looked like about 60 something vills and down below where Louis was, and then that just allows Louis to stabilize that much easier, utilize his advantage that much further.
Yeah, exactly, man. This is now gonna be an uphill battle for DeMu, but Louis, he's in a rock solid position right now, leading with a point now on match point. It's gonna be time. Let's look at the maps that are gonna be remaining. So we had Migration and Kawasan. Next one is gonna be Migration, where we will be seeing the HRE from DeMu against the Abbasid from Louis. All right, I mean, this is like the water category map, so it makes definitely a lot of sense to pick HRE here. The question's going to be like on a map like Migration, if you take water control, will you also be able to take land control? I think in many situations, yes, just because with land, like with water, you're also able to like shrink the land part that your opponent can realistically have access to. That's going to be the most important thing here for these players. Just take control over water, make sure that you then also take control over the middle land, or at least shrink it for your opponent to a certain amount of degree. And yeah, whoever is able to like get these conditions in should be in a really good spot to just kill their opponent then at that stage of the game.
Yeah, I mean, that's just kind of one of those. You mentioned taking the water control. Usually, if you take over the water control, that means you've had multiple town centers pumping from minute 1 of the game, because that's kind of where what you have to think about what docks are. You're pumping out an eco unit, fishing boats that are very, very strong, especially when it comes to deep sea fish. And so then you take the water control, you deny the water from your opponent, you should be up a significant amount of eco to allow you to do exactly what you mentioned: take control of the land, shrink it for your opponent, and kind of win on 2 fronts.
All right, Abbasid for Louis on this map. This actually reminds me of a couple of games that I've seen so far with Abbasid on these maps, like both moving out and migration. Is that in those on those maps, Abbasid and Ibits, more than any other civilizations, are prone to landmark snipes. Like those landmark snipes on those maps, they can really, really catch you off guard, especially since transport ships are actually quite tanky. So even if you have like the lead on water, all it takes is like a transport ship with let's just put a random number out, 16 rams inside. 16 rams inside to land on your main island. And if you're not there in time with your villagers, or if you don't have any army there on your main island at a certain point in the game, you're just dead. You're just done. And that could certainly happen. That is always an option that can happen.
I honestly felt like we were at that point at moving out where DeMu had like lost a lot of control. He'd taken a lot of damage, and me in that position, I would have been like, all right, I've lost the game. Let me just throw all my villagers at the TC or do something stupid. And that's where, he could have tried to almost like secretly build a bunch of rams, like you said, put them in a transport ship, or especially when we talked about, with moving out, That main island at one point was fully barren. There weren't villagers. There wouldn't be anyone to rebuild, to burn down the rams. It could have been a potential landmark snipe. And the same thing can happen here with migration quite a bit. So very, very interesting to see. Very kind of always a risk to think about when you're playing ABBA. And it doesn't really allow you to expand your golden age to a massive tier up like you want. Usually you can get that initial one very, very easily. And then from there, that's kind of it.
We talked about it earlier, like thinking about HRE. Aachen on the mainland or Aachen on the island in the middle, or maybe even Minework Palace, and you just make prelates the normal way.
And then that gets followed up with Louis dropping a proxy house of wisdom with military wing on the mainland, full denies the chapel, everything there.
I would be for it.
Now we're talking
All
about
for it.
migration becoming more of a chaos map than a water map, but hey, we're all for it. I'm good either way.
Oh man. Okay. Just gonna be a little bit longer. Just a moment, just seconds away from our game number 4. Match point for Louis now. Is DeMu gonna be able to make a comeback on migration? We'll see in game number 4 in just a couple of seconds.
Yep. Get those channel points in. Prediction is up, and the game is starting. Game number 4 begins. DeMu in the north side, playing as the HRE in the color purple, LoueMT in the south in the color yellow, playing as the Abbasid, and this is moving out. Migration.
Yeah, I was about to say, but wait, look at the berries, man.
Same thing.
Like, it's so cool. Like on these small islands where all the resources are like really crammed inside of your base, it can be really, really funky. And actually, looking at the map of DeMu, that's a pretty decent map to put your Archon actually inside of your base. Not only are you gonna be able to boost up your gold, the berries, and like 2 wood lines, you'll also have some shoreline fish that you boost up as well.
Can it even fit right there in between the
You,
bones?
you would fit it next to the berries, I would say.
Or are you talking about like the right side of the berries?
Yeah, right side of the
Okay.
berries, you boost up like 3 shoreline fish, 2 wood lines, the gold as well.
Yeah. And you know, I laugh because you mentioned the berries for Louis that was like almost inside his TC. Unfortunate for him, he's ABBA. He still wants to end up building a mill anyways. So
Yeah.
it's he wants to get that berry bonus in the long term, but you know, in the near term, just be able to gather up the sheep if need be. And it's all about the water to start off.
Yeah, sure, for sure. Docks already out for both players now. Fishing ships are coming out. Louis, of course, with the Abbasid gets the dock a little bit cheaper, so is going to be the first one to have those fishing ships out. Already 2 out by the time DeMu gets his first one out, so does already have a clean lead there when it comes to the economy scaling. But DeMu, of course, on land with the Prelate, with the Inspiration, he's going to have a very sizable lead there when it comes to the wood income that he'll have. So second dock should be coming in quite quickly for him along the way.
Yeah, it's just crazy how much that prelate inspiration just really matters, especially in this early game. You know, that extra inspiration allows DeMu to not only drop that second dock, but to be able to produce off of both of those. Whereas a lot of times Louis, he's just going to be producing off of one.
Yeah, second dock is now coming in for DeMu, so very nice and early is going to be on that double production. Louis is on sending the villager out to gold now. The HRE, I mean, they start off without any gold early on, right? So it's going to be a little bit longer. Like whenever DeMu finally moves over to gold, it's going to take him a little bit longer in order to actually get stuff in there. And yeah, it might be, as you said, we got the villager out now on the main island. I think Louis, he's seen what I've seen recently when it came to practice of other players with snipes potentially happening on the Abbasid and Ayubid civilizations on these kind of maps, and he's going to be probably dropping the House of Wisdom centralized in the middle of the main island. By the way, the main island, it is spawned in such a way where there aren't that many like thin spots on the map surrounded by water, which means that even if you lose water control, you might actually still be fine just being on land here.
Yeah, you do have a decent bit of land, and you can't forget you got double sacred sites on that middle island. It's a win condition on there that you can just control that up, drop some keeps, and go, all right, you know, come get me.
Where's he? Where's he going? No, he dropped the House of Wisdom on his starting island. Actually, after all, it's going to be for a dock play on the other side.
Ooh, little bit of a potential, proxy dock, get some aggression quick, or also get some arrow slits into this channel as well. That makes it really, really hard for DeMu to kind of navigate throughout the map. Culture Wing is on its way.
Yeah, Culture Wing also makes a lot of sense. All the upgrades are going to be cheaper, especially on these hybrid maps. You usually don't go for something like Economic Wing. So Culture Wing, just getting all the discount and all the possible text there in Feudal Age means that long term, and also your Castle Age, going to be a lot cheaper. He's going to have some very good transitional timings there, especially, and that's necessary against a civilization like the HRE with the Inspiration.
Yeah,
can we take a look at the first woodline? I think it's already pretty much chopped through for DeMu.
I mean, it basically is. It's almost gone. DeMu is onto the gold. He's going to be able to drop his Feudal Age here in just a little bit. That proxy dock, though, it's going down. It's about halfway to finishing up. And like we mentioned, Louis started out with a little bit of extra eco, but look at what DeMu has been able to do with the inspiration of those villagers. Has really been able to just climb that up. And oh my, it is going to be a chapel on the main island. Middle island, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, no, wait.
Oh, no, it's not. It's just 7 villagers moving out that they want to get some expansion onto that island.
Wait, there's okay. This is so smart, by the way, from Louis, using the transport ship that he has in order to scout the island from DeMu now at this point in time. Like, he's gonna know where the docks are, where the fishing ships are, so he'll know where to send his galley immediately. And there we go. Yeah, DeMu, he's just gonna be setting up a proxy now in the middle of the map with the barracks as well as a lumber camp, so he's gonna be able to get wood there. This is very important. Oh my god, DeMu sees the dock there from Louis.
Super, super important. Chapel, it's only about halfway up. He's got 7 villagers on it. He's trying to rush it down. You can see that Louis already investing into some of those eco. Oh, he just canceled the double broadaxe, I think. But yeah, he's waiting. He's waiting. Yeah, makes sense. Got to wait for that preservation of knowledge to come on through before it. But more importantly, there is only 2 docks for DeMu, and there's like 20 fishing boats, it feels like. There's not a lot of space, and you can see it now. They're like, I gotta go. I gotta get out of here.
I'm not welcome here anymore, but that's also where the wood is right now from DeMu. So the archer ship might also be able to deny the wood income there, and that could be pretty big.
Oh, that's a lot of fishing boats.
And that's a lot of damage on them. And yeah, the villagers on the wood line will have to get pulled as well. And the fishing ships are getting really critically low now when it comes to their health.
Oh, he can jump the 2 low ones inside. Yeah.
One. Oh, they make it. They make it
barely
in time.
Look at how much. Think about how much idle time this is.
It's a lot.
So much idle time. It's an archer ship out for DeMu. He does have his own bit of dock, so he's got the healing right there next to it. But another archer ship circled back around on the other side for Louis. Does he get a pick here? Not quite.
Not quite. A couple of okay, DeMu, he's making men-at-arms.
Oh, how close is that archer ship to hitting that wood line? Oh, it just pulled away. He was trying to. It's actually so close to that wood line already.
It is. At least the wood line's only just at the beginning, right? So there's going to be some time before that really becomes an issue. But at the same time now, we got the first Sprinkle ships out now for Louis. DeMu, he's still waiting a little bit for his first Sprinkle ship to come out. This is starting to get really ugly really fast. And yeah, it's as you mentioned earlier, this might actually fit more in the chaos category at this point in time, the way Louis made this game out to be now. We got so many men-at-arms now in from DeMu as well in the queue that he has. The question is going to be, what's he really going to do with them? Is he just going to try and scout the main island, make sure that Louis is going to stay confined on his starting island?
I mean, can he not just, I guess going to try to burn the dock won't work because Louis will pull back with the sprinkled ships and take down the men-at-arms. So yeah, I'm not really sure what the exact play is, except maybe try to burn a dock, try to get into a position of the eco that isn't covered by, the TC or by water, but it seems very difficult.
Yeah, that's for sure. DeMu, he's still scouting. Like both of these players right now also still just actively using their transport ships in order to scout around the shorelines. Just trying to get as much information as possible. Louis now on the double dock. The proxy double dock aggression there. It looks like DeMu though, he stabilized when it comes to water. He's got 4 archer ships, which it might be a little bit excessive, but he's at least pretty close when it comes to the Springle ship count. Outpost actually getting rushed up against a transport ship.
That's one of those just in case things. Dock in the north is actually getting quite low, and like you mentioned, DeMu doesn't have the correct ship types, I think, to counter this mass out from Louis as of now. And so this dock is getting pretty close to getting put on the fire. He's pulling villagers out to go heal it.
Yeah, villagers definitely need to get pulled here. At least by now, at this point in time, it looks like DeMu might have enough ships here in order to combat the water army there from Louis. And DeMu's getting another dock up there on the other hand side. And he does have a pretty good land force at this point in time as well. So he is in theory in a position to deny a landfall from Louis. And it looks like that's exactly what Louis is doing right now. I think he just pulled a lot of villagers inside a transport ship, or at least I see the transport ship moving towards a side there. No, it's empty. Okay.
Just still getting some scouting around. Ooh, ooh. Oh my. It does get a little bit of a shot on one of the Springled ships, but
he's gonna pull villagers to repair that, right? He's got the villagers there. He could repair that one.
Or fishing.
Either or. Villagers are just a lot faster on the repair.
Still not too much damage able to be done actually on that middle. Oh yeah, Louis is pretty close. DeMu, he's not too far away himself, but it does seem like he's like not sure if that's actually his plan though. And the military wing's on its way for Louis already.
That's gonna be interesting. It still doesn't really feel like Louis has enough in order to make landfall, but if he gets the age up and has enough resource for just a couple of Ghulams, he might be able to.
It is. I think Louis wanted to make a play for the southern side fishing economy, and then right as he's gonna do that, DeMu was like, "No, I'm gonna take down your docks if you do that," and then would take water around as well. And Louis able to get a military ship pick right there with the Springled ships.
Overall, though, military lead on water for DeMu. He's also on the other hand side with some of the DeMu ships is going for a little bit of a pinch. Ships. Oh, the DeMu ships! It's getting a huge connection! Oh my god, DeMu, he just lost most of his military there on water. Oh my god, DeMu ships also getting picked up.
Every single DeMu ship goes down. Louis just won the game.
He might have just won the game, and the set with it as well. This is match point for DeMu. The age up isn't in yet, so DeMu, he's not getting signaled. The alarm bells aren't ringing yet. It's not like, oh my god, my opponent is aged up, but as soon as Louis, the age up comes through, as he's playing as the Abbasid, he's not pulling any villagers for the age up, so he'll have a lot of resource in the bank as soon as the age up comes in. And behind this, like DeMu, he's getting dangerously close to just over-chopping. He doesn't have much more wood. He's gonna, oh my god, there's gonna be such a chaotic situation on land there in just a little bit.
Yeah, and I think Louis can easily take down this southern dock on this middle island. You can see he's starting to take down any of the reinforcements that pop on out of it. DeMu ships keeping that Springled ship kind of... Oh, never mind. He's going to take it down. Free Springled ship taken down. Free dock taken down. The age up comes through. The Regnance Cathedral's on its way in the middle island. But Armored Hull's already on its way for Louis, and DeMu, he's only got 6 villagers on that. It's just not going to be quick enough, I feel like. And Louis...
He's going to have to evacuate to the middle land. I think he just has to like pull mass fishing transport ships now. Like get 2 transport ships out and just get onto the middle island with as many villagers as quickly as possible. Get the relics, try to get another TC up. I think there's no other
camel
option.
Riders. Oh no, this is game. If he spots out where's
the military? Where's the military from DeMu on land? It's on the sides. He's only got a single spearman as well.
He's protecting up the villagers. He's not moving it out, but you know what is moving out? It is going to be the main water mass for Louis, and he's about to just circle around this whole island. That means that DeMu's fishing is struggling. That's a ton of the food economy that he needs right now.
And I remember...
And all the wood economy.
I remember Marine saying that he thinks Louis struggles on water. The last couple of water games here definitely didn't feel like it. And if it was that way, I think he must have improved a lot, because Louis right now, he's looking absolutely solid.
Yeah, and there's nowhere that DeMu is going to be able to get wood from here in the next couple seconds. More reinforcements coming for Louis. Taking hold of this channel means that transport ship ability is not going to be the easiest way to the island, as you can't really cross that channel.
Yeah, I mean, where are the villagers? They're still on the main island.
Villager gets taken out. Oh no. Oh, he's not reacting to it. He's got bigger things. He's got bigger things to worry about with his fishing economy, with the whole entire other military mass pushing forward. He is trying to get in the transport ship, and he realizes, oh no.
He's gonna be able to make it out. These ships are really, really tanky. It hurts though. It definitely hurts. All this aggression right on the other side actually takes some good shots there.
Louis loses 2 springald ships, loses a couple demos, but
all the fishing ships
down, a ton of fishing ships, another dock as well. There's not really going to be any way for DeMu to keep reinforcing the mass on the sea here in just a little bit.
Yeah, behind this, the relics are also being picked up now by the players. But yeah, water battle just looks really lost now at this point in time for DeMu. DeMu at least got 1 relic in so far. There's another one on his island, but actually, I think he might not even be able... Oh, he can actually get the relic inside of his base, right? Like, I think something that he could do now is get an outpost up, put a relic inside, and if he has the resources for a springald emplacement and fortification, with a relic inside, not even demo ships could take that down.
Yeah, I mean, you can see it now, though. He's got reinforcements from Louis coming onto the west side and having to move towards the reinforcements. Demo ship explodes. Demo blow up. Louis not paying attention.
Both of them are there. Oh no, it's in perfect position.
A couple of these demos from Louis have just been so crucial, and DeMu has just been crushed from it. Camel Riders finding some villagers in the center, getting a few more economic picks, and look at the difference in the economy now.
Yeah, and the crossbow's now able to clean up the fuel age man-at-arms as well, just as the upgrade for castle age comes in. The camels are gone, but there's nothing else remaining for DeMu now when it comes to his land military.
He is taking down the 2 proxy docks, but I'm not sure that really matters anymore, as he had his own docks taken out. So it's at the point now, I don't think DeMu has a dock left on the map except 1 on his home base on the north side.
I think that got yeah, he's got 1. He's got a relic inside as well, so at least his ships are shooting 5% faster. But with the amount of military that that Louis has on land and water right now, it feels like it's just about checkmate. Louis, he went for the late landfall, and it looks like it paid off for him.
Yeah, the late landfall, but he went with the landfall with Camel Riders with just a ton of units, and he went with it with winning water. So there was just so much extra oomph behind it that really just didn't allow DeMu to get some breathing room, didn't allow DeMu to stabilize at all.
Military from DeMu. It's not a lot that's remaining right now, and DeMu on land, he's still making men-at-arms, but Louis, he's still on the crossbows. DeMu... Both of them players. Oh my god! The last couple of villagers.
And that's all the wood can get.
Yeah, it's pretty much nothing remaining on his main island at this point in time.
Louis coming from the south side with a few military ships as well. A boar's next to that wood line he's moving to, but I don't think he even needs the boar to help on out, as Louis has double-digit crossbows. The rest of these villagers will fall.
Yeah. I think at this point in time, it's safe to say that this is probably game, and Louis looks to be in a position to close out the set, our first set now in the group stage, with a 3-1 victory against DeMu. Definitely didn't look that well for him after the first game, but now, at this point in time, I mean, it's like almost a reverse sweep, almost.
Yeah, DeMu with a very clean game number 1. Started off very strong, but Louis has just been able to take the rest of the series by hand. Has had some huge success on those hybrid, on those water maps, the chaos maps, if you want to call it that as well. And soon enough, I think DeMu was going to be throwing in the towel. He's starting to lose his steam, starting to lose spots to be able to gather eco from. But as we say that, another demo gets pretty close to connecting, and there it is. He realizes it's lost. Louis takes the series.
GG gets called, and man, that was absolutely brutal. The landfall there as well. Like DeMu did actually such a great job of just preventing landfall for such a long time, but Louis, he really like went for it on his main island. Like he really just completely pulled out all the resources that were remaining there, just waited as long as possible until he actually had to move out to the middle of the map. And at that point in time, the timing, it was just too great from Louis. The great play as well with the one villager that walked around the entire, like throughout the entire island and just dropped 2 proxy dogs there and just got so much pressure on DeMu there. Absolutely amazing play there from both players. But in the end, Louis, with the better timings, with the aggression on the main island from DeMu, just able to eke out enough of an advantage there in order to take the game.